All right, let's rock and roll, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. If we are meeting for the very first time, my name is Holly Lee. I have been your virtual career coach for nearly 4.5 years. I am the founder of my premium VIP coaching program. Is a very small cohort where I provide a full career transition or interview preparation for you to land a position with your employer of choice, okay? And we are going to talk about interview prep today. Because we're in that topic and you guys are truly new, go to my website, and that is the exact link right there, by the way. It is the Start Download template. It's giving you a preview of my biggest business impact during my time at Amazon Consumer and how I was able to build an international team within 3.5 months. No catch, nothing, and it is free for you guys. In this channel, we're very Amazon friendly. I'm not an Amazon coach, but I love using the Amazon high standard in helping you land your job interview with any role and any employer of your choice. So for today, you saw my title, and that is quick tips. I get a lot of those questions, number one question. So today I have a very hot topic. So let's get you interview prep. If you don't have an interview lineup, don't worry about that. We will also get you there. I don't know if you guys can see the sticky notes. Oh, camera, work for me. All right, I'll read it to you. It says, are you ready to interview? Yes or no? How do you know if you're ready to interview? Before we get started, the biggest tip I can give you right off the bat, you need to be able to ask yourself, are you ready to move on from your current employer? If you are still working, are you ready to move on from your employer? If the answer is yes or no, maybe you don't know. It's very simple because I work with a lot of clients. I call them members. And if you're currently in an environment or you have left your choice or affected by the recession, you need a moment to come back to earth and be grounded, meaning that you need to really figure out what is it that you want to do next. And you need to be able to ask yourself, are you just wanting to pay the bills? It's okay if you do. Most people do, right? But if you're going to do that, what are some of the standard or expectation you're looking for in the next gig? It's really important because no one talks about that. I work with so many of you fabulous people, and all of you, by the way, if you want to get in touch with me via LinkedIn, it is the best way. A lot of my attention is with my VIP coaching members and my private clients. Okay. So I want you to just think about that for a second. Why are you looking for another job? Do you think you are ready? What do you look for in the next opportunity? Are you looking for the same thing? Are you looking for level up? Or are you looking to change industry completely? You have no idea how many people I've come across, more so than ever since the recession in 2023, where they say, Holly, I'm a level 7 at Amazon. I've been at Amazon for 18 years, Holly. I don't want to do this anymore. In fact, I don't even want to be in tech anymore. I need to get out of the tech space and I want to do manufacturing. I want to do my first startup. So there's a lot of that. That's what I mean. Before you start applying to jobs, let's talk about why not applying to jobs still. And before you take that interview, because the employer can hear it. They can hear it from your tone that you're not ready. Okay. I guess my whole point is I don't want you to waste your time and effort. You could study until the cow comes home. You know everything about the role. You know everything about the company. But the employer feels that your heart is not ready to jump ship or move forward to take a different position. You may not be working right now and you don't want to show up desperate that you need this job because you need to pay the bills. I'm reflecting this with a lot of love and care because you know that you come to my channel for me to speak the truth and not what you want to hear, okay? I have been an interview trainer at Amazon for 7 years on top of my role as a talent leader, recruiting leader. I've been an interview trainer at Meta, Facebook, at Google, a lot of, even startup, a lot of these companies. I can tell you that one of the very common feedback is when folks are interviewing, and one of the many reasons why you didn't get the position is you're not prepared to frame your answer around the position. So that in mind, let's go with the first thing we want to talk about. I wanted to provide you with my top 4 things, if I have to give it to you, how can I get you to prepare for your upcoming job interview with any employer? The first thing is, what is the core competency for this role? Meaning, what do I need as far as knowledge base and skill for this position that I'm interviewing for? Because sometimes when you're looking at the job description, it's so vague and they're purposely not putting a whole lot on there for legal purposes. And no one has time to tweak every single job description. I get it. I was there too. Your recruiter, you got to train your recruiter by asking them questions. If he or she doesn't know the answer, ask them. Do you mind checking with the hiring managers because I want to be prepared? I want to show up right for this interview. what are the domain expertise the hiring manager is looking for, meaning core competency, and also what is the culture, soft skill, right? What are the culture in your organization so I can get more exposed with the dynamic of the work environment? When you're saying that, pay very close attention. If you're not on the phone, or there's a lot of video meeting or video screen now with recruiters that I'm hearing, pay attention to their tone. You can tell if they hate their job, love their job, or eh. That's what I mean. A lot of people miss that. They don't ask about how the culture is. They're so busy about getting the job. I get it. You got to pay your bill, but do you really want to quit your job within the first month? The second thing I want to talk about is if you're interested in Amazon, even if this is not Amazon, this is Microsoft, this is Meta, Google, startup, whatever company it is, I want to show you whatever question you have regarding the company, go to the website. Everything is on the website. What really kills me is that a lot of you are spending money to pay folks to prep you for a job interview where you can get all the stuff for free. I'm going to show you a couple things here, but as I mentioned earlier, I like to use the Amazon High Bar because I did spend a few weeks to look at all of the interview questions. I'm not kidding you. And when I do that, I came up with 25 questions that's very similar to Amazon. That's in my VIP coaching, by the way. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. So if you are interviewing for any employer, and I'm only using Amazon as an example here, I'm going to share my screen really quickly with you guys. Okay. Over here, if you're interviewing for Amazon, or it could be whatever employer, in this case is Amazon, all I am doing is I went to google.com and I type Amazon jobs. That's it. There's no secret sauce here, okay? This will come up. The first thing you need to do is you need to learn how the interview process works for Amazon. It's right here. Let's prepare for your in-person interview, which is your final loop. When you're preparing for your final loop for AWS and other employer, it is the same process. I don't even care if it's startup. It's the same thing, which is what I just talked about this. Learn what the company's culture is, most likely is on their website, right? Number two, I'm not going to read every single thing here, by the way. This is just an example. Their leadership principle, okay? Their star format, tips for great answer, everything you need to know, because I still have an overwhelming amount of questions from my amazing network via LinkedIn and YouTube about what type of questions and tips for Amazon interview. Guys, is right here. Type Amazon jobs on Google, will bring you to this page. The one thing I do wanted to highlight is you must need to know what the Amazon leadership principle are. You need to know what it is. Let me explain. You do not need to come up with 1,000 different examples because no one's got time for that. My biggest tip for you is one, know the LP, know the 16 LP. I have a whole playlist, by the way, guys, right here. This is my YouTube channel. In my YouTube channel, if you click on playlist, which is right here, in the playlist, I actually talked about Amazon and FANG interview questions and answer, which is example. I have at least 8 different templates right here. It's right here. There's templates on a lot of that, and you can actually filter right here the newest one. Okay, however you guys want, but all of them are right here. You must know the leadership principle if you are interviewing at Amazon. Period. Do read brief definition. Do not spend weeks on reading over this. You don't need it. You just need the basic foundation. And then you will look at my examples. I also have guest speakers who talk about right and wrong answers when it comes to LP. And if you need help in tying your LP to your answer, feel free to reach out to me, okay? The second thing I want to talk about is the STAR method. The STAR was my second video I've ever done when I first started my YouTube channel. It is horrific, by the way. I have no clue how to film and record myself. I think I've dropped my mic a couple times too. But the STAR Foundation is not something that has been with Amazon for a long time. It's actually, when I was there, and I was there for 7 years, I honestly don't remember using the STAR method at all. I've learned about that as a coach when I started my own business of how to keep my audience concise, and that's where the STAR came into my practices. Even though I use the situation, task, and result right here, I twist it in my own way, which is I do have a rule. The rule is you need to play ping pong when you provide an answer, meaning you do not talk more than a minute. You can talk for 2 minutes, but you got to keep it exciting, right? If your answer isn't exciting, no one's going to listen to you for 2 minutes. That's the fact. If you're a level 6 trying to aim for a level 7, or you're a director, you're probably going to get an offer for an L6 or even an L5 because you're way too long-winded, which is why my very first video is called the 60-second elevator speech, because you need to practice and know that you don't need to take more than 8 to 10 sentences to complete an answer. Why? Because you want to allow the listener to ask you probing questions or clarifying questions to bounce back and forth. The tip number 3 is practice. You need to practice in writing as well as delivering your message. Early on, I talk about knowing the leadership principle and using the STAR Foundation. The STAR Foundations help you to keep concise in verbally delivering your message. My whole purpose is that you need to follow the STAR method. It's very, very simple, and I have so many videos. I have 382 videos, but I highly recommend you to look at all of them with examples, STAR method, because those are written example from me, and I also, with permission, use some of them from some of the folks that I personally have worked with before who are Amazonians. So you need to learn how to do that. In order for you to deliver great answer, you need to be able to write very well with concise breadth and depth. Let's move on to tip number 4, which is mock interview. What does that even mean, and how am I supposed to mock interview with myself? Very simple. The first thing I would recommend you all to do, the same thing I told my client, is first look in the mirror. I know no one wants to look at themselves in the mirror. You have to look in the mirror. In the mirror, it's giving you a type of confident level because you're looking in your eye contact. Eventually, you will get so comfortable, you'll be able to move your hand around because then you know what you're talking about. You can give yourself feedback. It's very simple. When you look in the mirror to practice, hit record on your mobile phone. I would highly advise for you to listen to it and take notes to see which one you're really struggling with and which one you should move forward. Until you've done it about 3 times or so and you're comfortable, that's when you move on to the next level to mock interview, where you're going to give one of your buddy a call, either your former colleagues, one of your good friends, or a trusted confidant, so you can practice mock interview. But be sure you pick somebody who actually have similar background or industry background, preferably at your level or above, so they can give you some feedback, okay? You don't need to work with me or hire a coach. I'm literally giving it all to you. That's all you have to do. How do you know when you are ready? You need to have at least 20 different example. It's so common for former clients that comes back to me and say, Holly, I was so prepared. I was so ready to get that job at Amazon, but I repeated my story 3 times, not just 1 time, but 3 times. You're not going to get a job because Amazon or not, what interviewers do is they have this thing called debrief or hiring committee with bigger organization, meaning that every single person who have had conversations with you from recruiter screen, phone screen, and the final loop, they will share feedback of you. Okay? They will. And they do it live. So obviously, if Jonathan would say, yeah, Nicholas gave me a great example the time that he was building ABC at Tesla. And if Gory says, yeah, you know what? Nicholas told me the exact same story and the exact same situation. You're not going to get a job. Interviewers believe that if you have what it takes for the role, you should be able to come up with examples. And if you don't have examples, you could always ask probing questions before throwing something in the dust, right? Ask them, I actually have never been in that environment before. Do you mind if I give you an example 3 years or 5 years older? Something similar. Would you be interested in that? Ask them. I would love it for you guys to seek to understand rather than just making something up. Worse, using the same example multiple times. All right, 20 different example is my recommendations. I wanted to show you my business page, by the way, just hollylee.co. And on the very top, in the middle, you'll see Holly Lee's blog. We spend a lot of time in writing all of this, how to answer behavioral interview questions, the power of recruiter at Amazon. It's not just Amazon, it's any employer. We know that, right? How to negotiate your salary offer during the pandemic. The recession is really the same thing. Resume tips, really the biggest mistakes, not just for Amazon to get you into big paying or maintain company. So I'm not going to read all of this, but they're all here. It's all free. You don't have to sign anything. You don't have to be committed to anything. Go ahead and do so. But if you want to, when you click download, this is my STAR example that I was telling you earlier. There's a video to tell you and guide you through how to do so. Basically, the whole point of this download or template is helping you to really think bigger of what is the content of your story, what problem you're solving for, how do you create an action plan, and what is the end result with ROI. Okay? The number one biggest reason why a lot of people have failed their interview is because they got no ROI. And finally, this is the last slide. The last one I wanted to show you. This is a bonus tip. I'm a big fan of Glassdoor. I've been a big fan for a very long time. In fact, somebody on Blind actually think that Amazon and Glassdoor sponsor me. No one has sponsored me. They did not sponsor me. I just use a lot of the resources a lot when I work with my clients. I like to dive really deep in figuring out all the questions so that when you and I work together, I can at least talk about relevancy specifically towards the company, okay? You could search any job titles, any employee you want. In this case, I'm using Amazon as an example because that is the most questions that I have gotten. I would read all of them. The funny thing is, I could look at Amazon, I could look at startup, I could look at PayPal, whatever organization, and the questions are really identical. There are 63 answers. I won't click on that. You know how to get there. It's showing you, tell me about a time you had to leave a task unfinished. Tell me about a time when you give simple solution to complex problem. That's similar to tell me about a time you solved the most difficult problem, right? It's all the same things, okay? So that's what I mean. You have to really put a lot of thought into creating 20 different story. This is just an example for a senior program manager, and there are many, many, many more. Interviews for top jobs at Amazon. If you click on this, it shows you the entire list of all the positions that they are hiring like nuts. Lastly, I have my last sticky notes right here. As you all know, I don't really teleprompt anything. I rely on sticky notes. When you're practicing your interview, when you get to the point where you're really comfortable and you can do it via Zoom, I highly recommend you to do sticky notes as well. Sticky notes, flashcard, it's amazing. I don't really write that much. I just put, basically it says no cheating, and I know what I'm talking about. No cheating meaning I've seen a lot of advice where a lot of coaches actually recommend that you use dual monitor, 2, 3, even 4, where you can look at your answers and look at your resume, whatever that may be. That's a big no. First of all, if you wear glasses like me, look at this. You see the glare on my glasses? They can tell how many monitor you have. They can tell when you're looking, when your eyes are moving, right? You just don't want to do that. The second mistakes that I find is when you don't know the questions and you keep on asking the interviewer if it's okay to write down the questions. Absolutely. But don't do it every single time, because when you do it, you take your sweet time. You're really writing out the answer and then giving the interview. Will you still get the job? Yes, of course. If your answer is great, right? Number one, if I'm the person who's interviewing you, I don't know if you're cheating because it took you so long and I have to repeat the questions to you for you to write it down. If you're a senior professional or leadership role, that's even worse, or an executive, why do you have to write down every single one of my questions? And it takes you 2 minutes to write down your answer. So that's telling me that you are either flipping the pages or you really have to put your thoughts together, where I work for a company where you have to think quick on your feet, especially when you're senior level 6 or above. Okay. All right. I am going back and answer some Q&A. Don't forget, if you're new to my channel, smash that subscribe button. If you do that, it really helps the amazing YouTube algorithm. YouTube just really love engagement, especially during the live stream. Technical program manager. There's a lot of TPM. TPM is still really hot. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I will show you exactly where that video is. This is my main page, okay? If you go to playlist, which is right here, okay? Click on playlist. This is an amazing collaboration and I love her right here. This is the Amazon Managers and Bar Racer playlist. I highly recommend this for you guys, even if you're not interviewing at Amazon. It's just that a lot of the things they talk about, and they're all experienced interviewers. And the thumbnail, of course, is Victoria. If you guys don't know her, she's all over LinkedIn and Instagram, very big. She's also one of our former member here. She's a level 6 solution architect at Amazon. If I click on this as a TPM, I would recommend you to watch this video right here. It is my friend who is a former TPM at Amazon and also at Google. She dived really deep in talking about what differentiate a PM, a program manager, from a TPM. What are the levels of systems design from an SDE perspective versus a TPM? So we actually go very deep with Shelly, okay? I recommend you watch this and let me know if you have any questions. You can go ahead and put your question right into the video. I hope that helped. Do you know how referrals work? A friend of mine filled out a form to refer me, but I got denied on the second day after submitting my application. I think we didn't do the referrals correctly. Well, here's the thing. Once you have a referral, your friend should send it to the hiring manager. If the best person to hand the referral to is the hiring manager, go straight to the source. If you hand it to the recruiter is so busy, you don't even know if the recruiter is still with the company anymore, or they're on a chopping walking stick to get laid off. I'm just saying it like it is, okay? I would say go to the hiring managers. If you don't have an option, you have to send it to the recruiter, fine, do what you need to, but write a short paragraph. Ask your friend, whomever that refer you, to write a short paragraph about your background. They can't refer you and say, yeah, my neighbor, here's a resume. That's great. That's great. But it's much more powerful if this person have worked with you before and share at least one highlight of why your friend thinks you're a good fit for Amazon. I would do that. So the first thing the hiring manager do is send it to the recruiter and say, hey, I really want to have a conversation with this person, and boom, is a phone screen. Okay. There's no right way or wrong way. Either whatever way it is, they either reject you right away or they don't move you forward to the process. Either way, they will put you in their ATS system immediately so that they could send you automation email either to move forward or not. Okay. I applied for a leadership role, but not getting courage to complete my assessment. Well, what's stopping you from completing your assessment? You must do that. This is not an Amazon thing. A lot of employers are getting smart. They are asking for an assessment just to make sure that you are the right cultural fit, the right domain fit before investing time in candidates like yourself, because they are interviewing at a high volume right now. But again, it's going back to right here. How do you know when you are ready for an interview? You have to be prepared. When you're ready for an interview, you should be able to tackle any assessment, any question they're throwing at you. I know that you're trying to fight to land an interview. Once you land an interview, you have to give the recruiter your availability to move forward. Do not take an interview when you're not ready, because your feedback is going to stay in their famous ATS system forever. One of the feedback I received was I need to work on communication and answer clearly and concisely. That is when the STAR method comes in handy, my friend. You got to practice. You got to be very sharp in presenting yourself, because people will stop listening in no more than 30 seconds. The attention span for a human, from Harvard study, from Microsoft, the company itself and other employer, by labor statistic year over year, is 8 seconds. And that research was during the pandemic. This is worse now. Now is a recession where the interviewer is sitting behind the desk. This is worse. This is not even in person. This is video conference, video interviewing you, and a line of people right after you. You know they're not paying attention. If you don't keep it a minute or under and pause, allow them to ask you probing questions. Okay? Okay, for TAM, I would recommend you to watch. If you go to playlist, you go to VIP coaching endorsement. It's the first one right here. This is Irfan. Irfan is a level 6 when he got an offer to multiple positions. So if you are interviewing as a TAM, you have a lot of opportunity, okay? He did so well in my coaching program that he was offered multiple positions. The first one was a senior level 6 TAM, technical account manager. Second position was a technical product manager. Third position was a solution architect. And he chose to be senior technical product manager for AWS partnership program. Okay, I'm interviewing for a customer success manager role, but I don't have much relevant experience in terms of data analytics. How do I prove my worth and desire to learn in my answer? The first thing I would love for you to do is go to Glassdoor. The customer success manager, or CSM, is actually a very well-known position at Amazon. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of interview feedback and the type of questions, so get familiar with that. If you don't have example with data analytics, it is a lot of questions around your customers, how you earn trust, how you build rapport, what are some of the challenges that you've had with your customers. There's going to be some questions around data and matrix around success. You don't have to really show matrix or data if you don't have it. You know what? I think you have some level. You just don't know that is exactly what the interviewers are looking for. Okay? For instance, make them feel your level of scope and your level of scale. Meaning, how big was the environment? How big was the client portal you were helping? Who are your clients? A lot of the interview tactics is the way you answer behavioral questions. They're not looking for so detailedly specific where you have to meet the bar at 100%. There is no such thing as the perfect candidate. There isn't. Your job is to convince them that you're willing to learn and willing to adapt easily by asking the right questions in being successful with the CSM role. How many hours should I wait for getting decision? Well, it sounded like the recruiter told you that they have a debrief. Usually a debrief lasts for about an hour, and depending on how it goes, there's decision. The good thing is, if you're not the right fit, they usually send you an automatic email almost immediately. So if you have to wait a little bit longer, it's not a bad thing. And let's not think about the worst now. Let's just think that maybe they're busy working on your job offer or working on leveling, whatever that may be. I would follow up with your recruiter the following day, maybe giving them some time because this is the afternoon. And in the Amazon environment, it does get very busy. They may be tackling with a lot of different stuff, maybe moving the rec around or whatnot. If you don't hear from them, reach out to them tomorrow. Give your recruiter at least 24 hours to get back to you. I have an on-site interview for Solution Architect L5 role. I'm preparing for my presentation. Do you have any tips around the part of the interview? Or of course, that final presentation. When you do presentation, make sure that you provide simplistic designs that can help you relate your story. Make sure still you have a good story flow when you're providing your answer. Okay? I'm assuming that they give you a question that you should always do to see your design as a solution architect. Make sure that you're being very clear and it makes sense. I would actually go back and relook your stuff multiple times. I would actually practice really in front of the mirror to make sure that you have that eye contact, you're not long-winded, and knowing when to move to the next stage, Unlike answering an interview question, you're making a presentation, you gotta be able to time yourself. Amazonians don't like to listen for very long. If they're listening to you for 5 minutes, most likely you have lost them. So make sure that your presentation is graphical. If you can add some pretty design, make it very simplistic and not a whole bunch of words, a whole bunch of number, make it easy for them to understand and easy for you to remember how to relate your story so you can get to the point quickly and how you built the infrastructure. I'm currently a commercial account manager in SaaS, and I've been handling tech sales for the last year and a half. Lots of client interaction and report building. Very little data analytics involved in this job. I'm looking to transition to a post-sale career. CSM at Amazon is one of my dream jobs. Excellent. So they're going to ask you why Amazon or why are you interested in this role? Right there, Sharon. As much as I love being a commercial account manager in ABC company you're with, I feel like I would love to expand more knowledge in the areas of data analytics. And I can see that transitioning into a sales role as a CSM at Amazon would get me there. I'm so excited to learn more about your role, period. That is your why Amazon answer. Just an example. Of course, you can spin it however you want to. Don't worry if you don't have the experience. Basically tell them the experience that you do have and just think about your greatest achievements around how you're really diving deep into figuring out and solving the problem. Because data analytics or matrix and analytics, what do they do? At the end of the day, they're helping the listener paint a clear picture in how you solve a problem. I bet you if you don't have an answer, think about how you're able to tackle some of the biggest problem in your company and your role. You will still be able to be forgiven of not having that small piece that they're looking for. How do I prepare for follow-up questions? If you wanted to be prepared for follow-up questions during an interview, you gotta set them up. That is why I've been talking about using the STAR method. That is why you are structuring your answer in such a way where they are going to ask you probing questions based on what you're giving them. Yes, you know that you come up with probing questions based on what they give you. That is why I want you to fall asleep and have nightmare of the STAR chasing after you. That is true. I'm not being cheesy. That's really true. That is why the more simplistic you are is helping the interviewer write down probing questions to have follow-up questions with you. My AWS recruiter said 5 to 6 solid story. What the hell? But you said 20. Who should I believe? Me, because I trained interviewed recruiting and recruiting team. You need more than 5 to 6 solid story. I don't know anyone that could do that. 5 to 6 different story. What are you interviewing for? If you're a contractor, sure, maybe. But for full-time employment, 5 to 6 story is really one interviewer. If you're going to have at least 5 interviewers, a full loop, by the way, is 4 interviewers. Full loop equals to 4 and sometimes 5 interviewer plus the bar raiser, right? Let's just say 4, just to be nice. The phone screener, 5 interviewer total, okay? Let's do the math here. 5 to 6. So you're telling me each interviewer is going to ask you one question. I'm going to stop right there and let you think for a moment. By the way, if y'all forgot, make sure you smash that like button. If you're not a follower, what are you all waiting for? Because 75% of the people who are watching my YouTube channel are not subscriber, guys. Come on, help a girl out here because that truly motivates me to come back every single week in pumping content for you. I will see y'all beautiful people next Tuesday. Bye.